Hi, and welcome back to this episode 5 of Behind the Remix with the Cool Notes. Now, we started off, didn't we, with looking at building a track from the very beginning. In fact, it's our remix of our brand new single. And today we're going to learn all about the vocals. We started off with the drums, then we went into bass, we looked at the keyboards and then the brass. Now it's time for the vocals, and the vocals are truly going to show us and open up what the song's all about. Now in this series, I like to remind you, I'm not here to teach you anything, I'm just here to show you how we do it. We've had a few people ask, how do Cool Notes make their records? Well, this is an insight how do we do it. So let's get going. So how do we start off? Well, when we have a brand new song we're going to start to work on, we'll come into the studio and Heather will come along because she normally sings the songs, and we'll sit down and we'll have the lyric sheet and we'll go over it. So the first thing I'll do is I'll sit down around the piano and just sketch out the melody and the chords of how the song's going to run. I always say it's easier to copy a song when you already know it than when you're actually making one up from scratch. Now remember, there's nothing there, so we start to go through it and we start to build. Now remember, Heather's coming to the studio not knowing anything about the song. So what we do, we then sit down, like I said, and we go over what the song's about, how we think, well, how I hear the song running. We go through the emotions of the song, whether it be a build, whether it will be an up-tempo song, a slower mid-tempo, a ballad even, and I'll take her through how the song is going to be. Now, when working on vocals, I love to use my preferred DAW. My preferred workstation would be Pro Tools, as you can see in the background. And I love Pro Tools. For me, Pro Tools is the perfect tool for this kind of work. What I really love about Pro Tools is that you can manipulate any part of the audio that you wish to do. And before Logic actually caught up with Pro Tools in many ways, Pro Tools was the beast, and I've stuck with it. So I will go to Pro Tools, and that would be my preferred DAW. Now that Heather's got the rough idea of the song, we will now sit in here and we will just go over the song from the control room, round and round. She just sing it round and round and round until she gets familiar. We'll do 3 or 4, maybe 5 or 6 times. And then Heather will go off into the vocal booth. When she's happy, off into the vocal booth she'd go. And we put down quite a few lines. So Heather would put down about 6 or 7 tracks of the same thing, just freestyling it. No strict, not strictly sticking to maybe how I've shown her the melody would be eventually, but she would put her emotion, her feel, and just a general vibe, and we were looking for that vibe. That's what we're looking for, that initial vibe of how she feels the song. And you'd be surprised how much in the very early stages of the song we actually keep, because there's a lot of good vibes that go down on tape. I say tape, but you know what I mean. I'm from the old school. After she's run those few takes and Heather tells me she's ready and she's fully warmed up, we would then start recording the choruses properly. And we'd start off, say, with the first chorus, and we'd start building track by track. Now, initially, we would probably do about 4 tracks per note. So Heather would probably do 4 tracks and I would do 4 tracks. But I would not do my section until she's actually finished. But that's how we build it. So we build her 4 and 4, and then we'll go to the next note of the chorus, 4 and then 4. And we use 4 because I like to use them in stereo, which I'll talk to you about a bit later. To give you an idea, when I say 4 notes, so Heather would sing at 1 register, and I'd probably sing an octave lower than she would. So we'd have a unison going on there, but with the same notes. So we form a nice, solid, strong sounding melody. Now, once we're happy with all the chorus works that we've done, and they tend to build pretty quickly after the first 4 or so tracks that she does, it really starts to sound really good. And we start to build that chorus up, and we get the chorus as strong as we can. But sometimes we put extra bits in there we probably wouldn't use on the mix, but we just put them in there, and because we can always take it out afterwards. And that's the beauty of Pro Tools. I can just go on and on and on. So when we're happy and we've completed our chorus, I would then spend quite a bit of time starting to edit those choruses together. In other words, if there were a few notes that were slightly out of tune, which I don't mind actually, because when they are slightly out of tune, they do make that nice sort of like chorusy wide effect. If they're too exact, they tend to just sound very thin. So to give you an example of what I mean, I have about 12 tracks here, which Heather's gone through, and we'd start off with a basic track like this as an example.
I'm so happy I found your love.
As you can hear,
Feeling free,
that's
I'm
on its
flying
own.
high above.
So that would be the singular track. She would then go on to track herself.
I'm so happy
As you can
I
hear.
found your love. Feeling free, I'm flying high above.
So once I've edited all the stuff in Pro Tools, I'll then go over to Logic. And it's inside Logic that I put the arrangement together, because that's where the song will be. The song will be recorded and arranged in Logic. And let's go over to Logic now. Just before we go over to Logic, there is one plugin I like to show you that I use. I use Solid State Logic, an SSL channel called eChannel, and each vocal track I would run through the SSL channel. Got a lot of warmth. It's got a nice compressor. I can get a nice EQ that I want, and I can also gate any noises that happen, and it's everything all in one. It's a fantastic plugin, and we use that initially all the time to get things rolling. Now, one thing about We Cool Notes, we do love our harmonies. That's part of the structure of our music and our songs. We just love doing harmonies. We'll build those harmonies up, major sevens, sometimes minor sevens, major nines, whatever. We'll just chuck it all in there. And when we're finished, we'll sit back and we'll normally say, wow, that was hard work and that sounds good. And then we'll move on. So we're now back in Logic, my workstation for the rest of the mix. Before I left Pro Tools, what I did was I recorded each track, vocal track we sung, as a WAV file. I exported it out of Pro Tools and then imported it into Logic. I then cut each of the blocks into their sections and placed them and arranged them into the song. As you can see on the yellow blocks, which are going to be my vocals, and the purple box, which is going to be Heather's vocals. And that's the arrangement of the song done. Takes a bit of time. You go through it. The vocals are now processed. Each track's been manipulated, processed, sounding how I want them. There's quite a few plugins gone across the tracks. And I'll show you a few of the plugins that we've actually used on the vocals. Now, with Heather's vocals all mixed, processed, and sounding just the way I want them, this is how the harmonies have ended up sounding. So like this would be the root note.
I'm so happy I found your love. Feeling free, I'm
There's the harmony coming in.
above. You're my sunshine,
Third harmony.
my joy divine. I'm so happy. I'm happy.
So that was her harmonies building up. And now what I'll do, I'll bring my harmonies in to join her, and then you can hear how the whole harmony block would sound.
I'm so happy I found your love. Feeling free, I'm flying high above. You're my sunshine, my joy divine. I'm so happy, I'm happy.
There we go. And that's our vocal chorus blocks, and they travel throughout the song. They are slightly different in arrangement around about here in the song, where we get to the bridge and then we get to the end, but they're slightly different. And that's basically our chorus blocks done, sounding really nice. Oh, they really do. Ooh, that's better. I've just turned the aircon off. It was getting a bit noisy, wasn't it? Right, so let's have a look at Heather's plugins that we've used on her chorus blocks. So here I'm using a standard Logic EQ, just a general EQ there as the part of the stock EQs. Very, very good. I like this. I'm just rolling the bottom end off, get rid of some of the unwanted lows, and a bit of the top rolled off there. Over here, we've got the Fab Filter Pro C2, and I love this. I'm just compressing slightly just to keep it nice and tight. Not too much off there, just a little bit. Over here, I'm using the next in the chain. I've got the Pro Q3, and I'm just rolling a little of the mid off, just a little bit, tiny, a little bit, and just adding a little bit of the high end just to give it a nice crisp sort of sound. And over here we've got the J37, giving it a nice warm sort of saturated tape sound, which is also gorgeous. Warms it up a little bit, doesn't sound so cold and digital. I love that. So that's what we've got across her vocals, and I'm using them on all of them in the harmony section, and I've also used very similar in my own. So that's what I've used across the chorus vocals, including my own. Very similar plugins, but that's the general shape of how we're getting the sound with those. Now listen to them all one more time. This time we've got all the plugins in, and we've also got the effects reverbs also playing along with them. And we get a nice sound.
I'm so happy I found your love. Feeling free, I'm flying high above.
So that's them. And also, just so you can hear the individual levels of the chorus block that she sung, like the root, the first harmony and second harmony. Let me play one by one so you can actually hear them singularly.
I'm so happy.
That's her root.
I found your love. Feeling free, I'm flying high above.
Here's the harmony track.
I'm so happy I found your love. Feeling free, I'm flying high above.
And here is the second harmony track that she did.
I'm so happy I found your love. Feeling free, I'm flying high above.
And just to remind you one more time what they're like all together.
I'm so happy I found your love. Feeling free, I'm flying high above.
Well, that's the chorus blocks for her. All done, all nicely put in place. And now we move on to the next bit of our vocal arrangement. And just to give you an idea of the quantity of vocals we use in those blocks of Heather's, there's about 20 singular tracks, all mixed down, corrected, and put in place. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It does take a lot of time. And when you do it, it's quite enjoyable. It sounds like this, and you smile. Oh, yeah. Now, I'm also using about 20 vocal tracks myself mixed down into those blocks. And to give you an idea how mine have sounded with them mixed in together, this would be my bass level.
I found your love. Feeling free, I'm flying high above.
And on my first harmony track, I thought it sounded pretty nice, adding a little pitch correction on mine. Give it that slight T-Pain sound. It really added a nice little modern sort of feel to it, or sound to it, sounding like this.
I'm so happy I found your love. Feeling free, I'm flying high above.
And when added all together, you can hear the full sound.
I'm so happy I found your love. Feeling free, I'm flying high above.
And now to put the icing on the cake, we'll show you what they sound like actually in the track, in place. And this would be one part of, this is the early chorus, I think one of the first choruses we actually sing, the opening part of the song.
I'm so happy I found your love. Feeling free, I'm flying high above. You're my sunshine, my joy divine. I'm so happy, I'm happy.
So there we go, that was the chorus blocks. Something I wanted to add, we're running about 32 tracks. Now, I explained to you I've done blocks of 4 and 4. Now, one of the reasons why that would be, and why I do that, when it comes to the mixing, I'll have, let's take Heather's bass track, her foundation track. I'll have one of her vocals hard left and hard right. I'll have the other two coming in a bit, either 4/3 or 10/2 in the pan picture, if you can imagine a clock. I'll do the same with all the others, so we get a nice paramedic sort of, I can't say view, but I would say picture of the sound, leaving the center free for the lead vocals. So we get that lovely lush wall of sound in your headphones or out of your speakers. That's the reason I do that. Now on Heather's vocal track, we're running some EQ again, some standard stock Logic EQ, rolling the bass off again, and also the top, and everything else is flat. Then we are using the CLA Vocals, Chris Lord I tell you, this is an amazing plugin. I love using these on vocals. It's a WAV plugin, and it's amazing. It does really bring those vocals out in the track. Then I'm going through the SSL channel strip, the E channel. Once again, adding some compression, also some EQ and some tonal effects, and it also gives you a lovely, just using the compressor alone on that machine gives you a lovely warm sort of effect. Up here we're using a bit of de-esser on Heather's voice. Heather has got a tendency to need to be de-essed. She's quite a sibilant singer, so we use de-esser on it. I'm warming the vocal up a little bit more with the CLA2A compressor. Beautiful analog warm compressor. That's a standard classic. And over here we've got a little tiny bit of the pitch correction. Once again, not using it for pitch, but we're just using it to put that effect, giving it a nice sort of modern sort of sounding vocal. And the microphone that I'm using is a U87. Neumann U87. So we would have recorded all our lead vocals in Pro Tools once again as well. Once we've done that and we're happy with all the vocal lines that we've done, and it may take us quite a while, it may take us, days and days and days to get through all that. We then chop them down to the final line that we want, and I would export them and import it into the mix track, into the workstation, and put them all in place, and add the plugins that we just went through onto the track. And so now I'm going to play you a section of her verse where the whole thing is complete, with the plugins, the vocal we're going to use on the mix, and also her harmonies going into the chorus. Now I'll be singing in there as well, but I'm doing this so I can't sing as well. So you'll hear that as the track plays on. We've done a duet in this song, so let's have a listen, shall we? So as we end off this session, rather than take you through my vocal setup, it's very similar to the ones I showed you with Heather. They will be roughly the same. In fact, they are quite the same, but obviously different settings as we have different tonal sounds. And going over the whole process of what we've been doing here, for me, vocals, it's the fun part of a song. It can be hard work. It is hard work. Getting the bits you want right. I mean, when you're starting something from scratch and you don't know where you're going, basically, it's fun as it develops, and it does develop into something sometimes you never knew you were going to get, and it's great. That's what's so fun about it. But it is hard work. Don't let me kid you, it is hard work. You got to put the hours in, and especially when you're writing songs from scratch, like I said. Some days you have great writing days or great production days, great singing days, and some days you don't. It's just hard work. But we get there in the end. We have a lot of fun making it. Sometimes it can be stressful, like I said, but generally it's great. And the best part about it is when you get to the end of it, and I'm going to play you some of the bits that we're going to play you out, actually, with the end of the song, where you can hear the full everything going on, if that's a word or that's a phrase. So I've immensely enjoyed making these little series of videos. We're coming to the end now. We've got the final one coming up, which I'll take you through the mixing stage, where I won't go too deep into it. I'll just show you how I get my mixes started, set up, how I make the mix easier for myself. I've got an automated desk, and I try to automate as much as I can and group as much as I can to keep your hands free and have less work. I'll take you through that, and then I'll just show you the final bit of the mixing session, the mastering session, where I master the track. I'll show you my basic process of doing that. It's quite a technical process, both mixing and mastering. So I won't go too deep into that. Like I always like to remind you, I'm not here to teach you how to do anything really. It's more about how we do our thing, because that's what you were interested in, how the Cool Notes make their music. And that's what I wanted to show you. I've enjoyed it, I really have. And can't wait for the next one. So I'll see you in the next one. And for now, I'll just play you out, okay? Enjoy. I hope you do like it.